3D is also in Manchester?
That's right, yeah. So I guess you've got like a ring road that surrounds Manchester. Over here towards Stockport was actually where CrossFit Manchester was, and then we went around the M60 a little bit further towards where the Trafford Centre and Manchester United's ground and that kind of area over that way, and that's where CrossFit 3D still is.
In 2010, right? That happened. Was your wife Rachel?
Yep.
So you were just the two of you at the time?
Yep, that was it. Yeah, we that was us doing all the classes, coaching. It was that was the golden era. It was totally cool, man. We loved it. We were fully in that period of time. You know, like we kind of managed to do it all. Had our first child. That was fun. You know, like so.
Fun.
Yeah, right. Challenging but fun. I wouldn't change it, man. It was awesome. But yeah, you know, like coaching the 7 a.m. class and having to take my like couple of months old daughter and like putting her in a changing room with a heater on, and like it was cool, man. I wouldn't change it. It was a great learning experience. And so yeah, we just kept punching and doing all the classes.
It grew very fast, right, at the time?
Yeah, it was cool. We're pretty bad business people, but we really enjoyed coaching, and I think that was probably the one thing that saved us. We were really good at I really enjoyed coaching. So whenever people came in, it was like, you know, Sherwood's adage, right? Make it the best hour of their day, and that's what I aim to do. You know, if someone walked in, I'd aim to make them have a blast, like have a great time. There would be a ton of smack talk. You know, that's with the nature of the beast that we do. Make them have a great time, make them move a little better, and then send them on their way again. You know, and that's we just stuck to that, and we grew as a result. You know.
And what do you think about like? So in 5 years, we've been working in 2 box from the very beginning of them, like the creation, and just my perspective, but I think that there's something special with the first members that you get into a gym because they become the core of it, and after that they're just gonna set the path for what your gym is gonna become.
Yeah.
So how was it for you to do that at least twice in your life, and did you feel the impact of the community in terms that the very first one that come to your gym are just gonna set the path for the other ones?
Yeah, good question, man. Yeah, it can do. I mean, I guess it's weird. It didn't matter to me personally if somebody had been there for like years and years and years or had only just turned up. They were equally very important to me. So I guess across the years I've been a bit bloody minded a lot of the times where I'm just like, no, I think this is what it should be. And even though I guess some like more established members would be like, no, I think we need to do this, I'd still be like, no. And I think that would probably annoy them quite a little bit. And equally, the newer members didn't offer their opinions quite as much, I guess. But you know, I'd always listen, but it didn't really change my perspective. I guess that's a good thing and a bad thing. So yeah, it kind of never really drove what we did. I always just stuck to what I believed it should be, and that didn't really change much. You know, like I made mistakes along the way in terms of like how we operated the business and all that kind of stuff, because like I said, I'm not a businessman, so I messed that up quite a lot. And I let that vision get skewed a couple of times, and that led to the point where, you know, 3D grew to a point where me and Rach weren't happy with where it was anymore. It just got too big for us, and we couldn't manage it anymore. We were pretty sucky at it, so we in hindsight recognized that where we existed as effective trainers and affiliate owners is in a small box where we knew everybody, and it was you know, like minimal craziness, but we grew big, which was cool. And then we launched into this all singing, all dancing arena of CrossFit, and we just realized, like, wow, even though this is really cool from one perspective, it's not, we found it difficult to thrive in that environment. So yeah, we decided that it wasn't for us anymore running a box that big, so we kind of downsized.
What did you feel when you say it was too big?
Yeah.
Was it because you couldn't do the right coaching, you couldn't have hands-on on every single athlete, maybe like no personal things about them?
Yeah.
We're a big box here as well.
Yeah.
It's always a challenge to get to know everybody.
Yeah.
We try to get to know everybody. We try to be personal with every single people, because that's what CrossFit is about. Doing something good for each and every person. Try to do something about their personal life.
Damn right, yeah.
But it's difficult. Is that what you felt? Like you can be close to all of them?
I mean, if I'm being honest, I felt like I was spinning too many plates in my life as it was. You know, like by the time that we got to the point where we were like trying to almost back away from running the affiliate, we had our second child at that point, right?
Yeah.
So now we had Freddie to go along with Ellie. I was working more and more regularly for the seminar staff. Like it had gone from the occasional seminar like it was at the start because there wasn't much need in Europe to pretty much from like 2010 onwards it being a full-time role for me, which was an honor and still is, like every single weekend working. So it was like every weekend away, come home, try and do a semi-decent job of being like a husband and a dad and an affiliate owner and on the seminars too. And I just realized I sucked at a lot of stuff. Like I was just getting by and I didn't really feel like I was being able to give what I felt all of those things required to be the best. Yeah. So when I look back in hindsight, I was like, well, what am I willing to give up? And it's like, I'm not really willing to give up being a husband or a dad. I'm not really willing to give up like the seminars because this is really cool and I love the responsibility and the role that I have. So the only thing that I could really give on was the affiliate. So that became the logical decision just for me and Rach. Now, that doesn't mean that great big affiliates like this, which are awesome, is a wrong thing. It just wasn't right for me and Rach at that time, you know.
Hence the move to Aberdeen.
Yeah, simpler life. # simple life, right? Which winds a lot of people up. Never mind, still going to do it.
And the creation of CrossFit Ellipsis.
That's right. Yep.
Which is your barn.
Which is the barn. That's exactly right. Yep.
So you bought a house in the middle of the mountains. Very, very calm.
Yep.
Have a barn, and you affiliated the barn.
That's correct. Yes. So it's the affiliation is there. We're live. We're an actual CrossFit affiliate, and anytime that people can find their way there, they're welcome to train with us. Simple as that.
Just for you to know, if you type the name of CrossFit Ellipsis on Google, this is what you get.
Yes, exactly. Well, you better show that. Huh? Yes, that's my reaction to doing maximum 500 meter sprints, which
maximum
is
500 meters. Nice.
So we basically follow a little bit of a mix-up of CrossFit Linchpin programming and CrossFit.com programming. So Pat Sherwood has always unashamedly programmed just gnarly, horrible stuff all the time, but effective. It ain't sexy, but it works. So that day was, I believe, a 5 by 500 meter sprint on the roller. Like you needed a max effort, and I can't remember the rest. I think it was like 2-minute rest or 3-minute rest.
Shit.
But it was
1 for 1.
Yeah, exactly. It was just disgusting, and it was so simple. It was just you go for it, and that's why I love following that programming.
You said today that Pat was one of your mentors. Can you just explain slightly who he is? Because many of us in France and maybe sometime in Europe we don't know who Pat is.
Okay, cool. So Pat Sherwood was still is. He's basically the face of CrossFit media. So you'll recognise him when you see the games update shows and all that kind of stuff. Pat's a cool dude. He used to be a flowmaster for the level 1 seminar staff, and was instrumental in our growth as a European crew. He was the primary guy that kind of drove us, and he was an absolute hard ass when he first came over. We were all scared of Pat. He was that guy he'd be beasting us on timelines. If we were a minute over lectures, then he'd kind of like just walk into our lectures and cut us off and just finish it for us, and we'd be like, it was cool, but he rode us hard because he expected excellence, and it pushed us to be better for him. But we were also really scared of him. And so we then had an evolution of time where Pat didn't come over for a while, and we had Chuck Carswell come over and Adrian Bosman come over, and we were like, woo, okay, these guys aren't quite as crazy as Pat was. And I remember we then had Pat come back as a flowmaster, and everyone was like, oh shit, like, oh no, I'm so worried, this is going to be really bad. And then he came over, and he was a completely different Pat. He was like, no man, it was like recruit training. I was just riding you super hard so as you knew what was expected, but you're good now, you've made it, so he cleared the thing. So he was instrumental in our growth as a European seminar staff. Personally for me, he was the guy that I first interned under when I was selected to be a flowmaster as well. He was the guy that, it was cool. The first time I knew I was going to be interning to be a flowmaster was we get a trainer email, as you know, like a week out from the seminar, where it details out our roles and responsibilities so we can prepare more effectively. And it had a flowmaster, whoever's in that role, it had Pat Sherwood, and then it had in my name like in brackets afterwards, and I was like, what? like, what does this mean? You know, like emailed Pat, and I was like, what does that mean? And he said, yeah, man, like, come in. It was in London, and he was like, right, okay, cool. You need to, we'll go out for a beer on Friday night and we'll talk about it, all this kind of stuff. And I remember just whining at him all that Friday, like, I don't want to do it. And he was like, I just enjoy running the groups and I don't want the pressure and all this kind of stuff. Like, I don't want to do it. And I remember Pat just going like, well, you got two options. You know, you can whine about it and do it anyway, or you can just shut up and do it. I was like, okay, all right, good advice, thanks very much. You know, like traditional Pat, no shit. So yeah, he was very instrumental in that, along with Chuck, along with Adrian, along with Todd Widman as well. They were all very instrumental in my personal growth on seminar staff, and just generally, they're just good dudes.
Yes. I think it's also interesting to see that all now the, like you said, the faces, there were the guys on media, maybe Adrian Bozeman, which is like famous for being the tough judge during the opens and the games.
Yeah, the head judge, yep.
Even Rory,
yeah.
Okay, they all come from the training department. They all were like on the road giving those gigs.
That's right.
Every
Yeah,
weekend.
I never got to work with Rory, but yeah, he was on staff too, man. Pretty looking individual that he is. Look at that, gorgeous man right there. Yep, sure.
Just to be clear to the people watching, so as you understood, Karl is part of the Red Shirts crew, seminar staff team. You guys travel all around the world. Every weekend you will have a group of, I don't know, you said 100 when you did your L1.
Yeah, a little less now.
Now it's a bit like, I don't know, 30, 40 people, maybe less in average. You do L1s, L2s, maybe L4s very soon. And I think next week you'll be with Royal Commando, maybe not doing an L1 or L2, but you'll be practicing CrossFit with them. You'll be in Cape Town next weekend doing an L2?
Yes, correct, yep.
And, I mean, you guys dedicate your life to these people.
Yep.
What got you to get on staff?
Offering to help. That's it. And I wish I had like a more, oh no, it was a definite plan, it was a definite thing. It wasn't. It was after I'd sat my level 2 in 2007. I think I just, my assessors on that level 2, I had Nicole, Carroll, Adrian Bosman, Andy Stumpf. Those were the primary assessors. And I remember it was just a chat where it was like, we'd love to get more seminars in Europe and just start, pushing it that way. And it hadn't been done. I don't think there'd been a level 1 outside of the continental US at that stage. But we managed to make it happen. We managed to get the first level 1 outside of the continental US at CrossFit Manchester. So we made that happen, and Coach came over, and Nicole came over, and Todd came over, and Jimi Letchford came over. It was like a salty veteran crowd, like really good. And that was a really cool level 1. And I just said, if you need help coaching, then I'm totally fine. I'll be dog's body. So I assumed that I'd be the point of contact for that seminar. But it was at the trainer meeting that morning when people were divvying up the roles, when I was assigned a group, and it's like one of those CrossFit moments where they just kind of go like, make it happen, see what happens. So I didn't want to let anybody down. So I ran a group and did my best based off of the feedback that I'd been given by all these people I looked up to, and started rolling. And it was, I was running a group, and at certain points I had Nicole looking at what I was doing, and then even Coach Glassman was looking at what I was doing, and I was just panicking. I just tried to ignore the fact that these two huge people were influencing my life, were like watching what I did, I just had to ignore it, and I thought, well, if I mess it up, then it was a fun ride, so here we go, so just coached people and did the best I could. And Nicole said, that was great, thanks very much, and there's another seminar coming up in Stockholm, convenient, my mum lived there, so it's a good excuse. She was like, if you can figure out a way of going there, then we'd like to offer you like a real official internship. And that was, I did that official internship. That was February 2009, I think. And that was then that was like how we would envision the internship now. I ran groups and certain responsibilities where somebody assessed me at every single stage. Nicole was my assessor, and I worked with like Jenni. It was very cool. So we did that, and it was very cool. Did that, and then at the back of it, I didn't actually know what I was interning for. I just thought it was like I'd get dragged along, and so, like if I needed to run stuff, then I'd be there. I was just happy to be involved. It was such a cool thing, being surrounded by these great people, and I was learning all the time. And then at the end of it, like Nicole was like, there's a job at the end of this if you'd like one. I'm like, if I'd like one, like hell yeah. So I was just so fired up, and that's actually where I met Courtney Rife, who's now, you know, like the travel ambassador for the entire training department. We interned together. There was another dude called Jacobsen, who we all know in Europe as well.
Yep.
So, you know, Mr. Charisma himself. There was also Oliver Amdrup, who's interning at that time, who's actually one of the joint owners of what's now Partie, is it?
Partie.
It's just changed its name, right? So yeah, some stalwarts in the European community. We all interned together, and we were the original awesome foursome of the European crew.
You're the only one left, no?
Along with Courtney, but she left us, right?
As a similar staff.
Yeah, she left us to move back home, but that's totally cool. Yeah, so I guess I'm the last one standing. Yeah, in Europe.
And now it's a team of how many? In Europe?
Oh my goodness,
I think that at the summit we were like 240 to join.
Yeah.
I think like many of them were not like on staff, but still we must be at least 150.
Yeah, in Europe alone, I think, I don't know, 25 to 30. Does that sound right? I'm guessing. I'm guessing.
Classroom.
Yeah, exactly. I guess we're not that huge for the area that we have to cover, right?
Yeah.
But
you guys happen to travel sometimes even further. You go to the US, you might even go to Asia, South Africa.
Yeah, we go where we're needed, man. It's like, but I love it too. The journey's really cool. Like, and I mean, I'm plagiarizing stuff left, right, and center. I've not had an original thought ever, but I think Chuck Carswell summed it up the best, where he said, like, you know, faces change, accents change, languages even change, but people don't, you know. So it's really cool how you can go to all of these places in the world and you can still talk about the same stuff. The round of 15 in France sucks, and everyone goes like, oh yeah, because, you know, like, doesn't matter where you are in the world, everybody knows. So it's a big unifying concept. It's pretty damn cool. So yeah, it's, even though the travel can get like a little old sometimes, you know, it's you always forget about it as soon as it's like, all right, it's 9 a.m. and up you go and you start the seminar. It's cool.
Usually, to sum up the weekend, you'll leave home maybe Thursday or Friday, depending where you're going.
Yeah, normally
maybe,
Friday.
Yeah, Friday. End up there on Friday evening.
Yeah.
Just prepare, meet the other guys and stuff.
Yep.
Meet up in the morning on a Saturday morning, where you'll get people to get registered on the L1, 30, 40 people to meet and everything, and then just get rolling until Sunday evening.
Yep.
After the test, and you'll hop on the plane and back home, right?
Yeah. Pretty what? In a nutshell, yep.
And on Monday you do your homework and just like write the feedbacks, do the stuff that you have to do and all that kind of stuff, right?
That's right. Yeah, I do my best. Paperwork and admin is not my strong suit, my man. Which I'm sure my bosses will testify. Sorry. Speaking of which, I have some work to do. Anyway, yeah. So that's basically the roles and responsibilities you have. You have some certain things that you need to take care of moving forwards from there. Some of us also have like a mentor group as well, where we're responsible for trying to help be a voice of reason, or perhaps some guidance for people that are newer on staff, or maybe even established on staff. But you know, we're just there to be a first point of call, I think, more than anything. You know, so yeah, I do some work there. Not a great deal. I'm a bit more of, if I try to let everybody know. I mean, Ellie will tell you, I'm there if you need me, but I'm not gonna like be like poking you every day to be like, hey, you okay today? Do you need a cuddle? I'm not that kind of dude. So I'm more like, hey, I'm right here if ever you need me. You've got my phone number, you've got my email, you can turn up at my house, whatever you need. But yeah, I'm not that kind of guy.
What's a pack of beer, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just bring beer and I'll let you in. Pretty much.
Nice currency to get some trainings.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And do you know how many seminars you've coached?
You know,
you've been on?
I've got a guesstimate idea. So I think I'm north of about 270 something at the minute, level ones. And because we have that online Nexonia, like the tracking system for expenses and things. It's all kind of listed on there, and on the HRD too. So I remember I was kind of like, I wonder how many I'm at. Because I think it was Chuck Carswell had just cruised past 300 seminars a long time ago, and we'd done a little video in I think it was Brussels, where I got the whole seminar to do. Chuck's a big one on like getting everybody to clap in time and hell yeah. So I got the entire seminar to be like, hey, congrats on your 300 seminar, and like, hell yeah, and like about 40 or 50 people chanting. It was pretty cool. So it was after that I was like, oh, I wonder how many I've done, and it was nowhere near. But I think I'm close now. I think we worked out that if I carry on working, I'll probably go over 300 level ones by maybe, I don't know, February or something next year. Which is pretty cool. Pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. That's a lot of people you meet.
Yeah.
And the goal in France is get more people on level 1s, get more people on level 2s, get people to do the level 3. There is no French people that have their level 3 until now. What is the main message that you want to pass on to these people to do their level 1? What will you tell them to get them on a level 1?
It's the start of everything. You know, like the level 1 will help confirm what you think is best about CrossFit, but it will also make you understand what the methodology is. Whenever I've had interactions with people that haven't ever done CrossFit or maybe even gone to the level 1, is they have a lot of misguided conceptions about what CrossFit is. And that's fine, you know, like that's just human nature, that's what's going to happen. So a lot of the time I just kind of I just let people talk and kind of like let them give me their opinions and what they think CrossFit is, and then I can be like, well, actually no, it's not, it's this, you know. So, and you can just say like, it's always been this and it's written right here and this is the methodology and this is what we believe. And it's quite enlightening sometimes if you don't meet fire with fire, but you just let people roll with what they consider to be their own opinions, and you go like, well, actually no, it's not, it's this. They'll go like, oh. So we're better to learn about that than on level 1, because it just basically it gives you that baseline from which to grow. You know, it's like, oh, it's this, always has been, you know, like as Coach quite famously has said recently, right? He's just said, get off the couch, get off the carbs, you know. It's an oversimplistic view of what it is, but basically, hell yeah.
If you do these 2 things, it's pretty good.
You do these 2 things, you're going to be on the right number, right? You're going to avoid chronic disease and messing yourself up. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And so there's nothing finer to get yourself on point and on message and truly understand what CrossFit is. You know, like don't let yourself get biased by people's opinions on what it is. You know, like take accountability and ownership for developing your own opinions based on evidence. You know, and go learn.
We just finished a level 1 in Paris, in CrossFit Louvre. And one of the last thing you said in a lecture was that at your time, when you started, there was only one resource, right? Yeah. You went on CrossFit.com. That was the only thing that had the truth on it, or the only truth that was available. Yeah. And now there's truth everywhere.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You go on these websites, there's another programming, you go there's a competition, you go there's this. Everywhere people have opinions. What do you think of all that? What would you advise people to do to know the real CrossFit, to understand the real value of what we do?
Yeah, I mean, well...
It's a complicated question.
No, I mean, it's a great question, because I genuinely think it's nothing more complicated than go straight to the horse's mouth. Like CrossFit.com, you know, I know people have got their issues with its level of programming or whatever that may be, but it is what it is. It's unashamedly hard. It's a challenge. Learn how to scale, or don't, and massively mess it up.